As ever, we're going to start with the welcome bonus that you can pick up. It's actually worth up to £200 with 10bet. This is a 50% bonus of your first deposit. So for example, if you wanted a full deposit, you deposit £400 or more, and £200 of that will be matched as a deposit bonus. You can also claim an extra £10 free bet when you register on your mobile. But if you want any more information on this, check out the text below, or if you're on YouTube, click the link in the description. So moving on to the sportsbook, and we're going to start with the design of the site. The design is not one of our favourites, to be honest. We think it's a little garish, shall we say. The blues and the blacks, if any, it looks fine. It's okay. A lot of the more modern sites are going down a lot of a cleaner route, and this just feels a little busy. The colours we don't think work great. And the text is really small as well. I've got pretty good eyes, but it takes some straining to read some of the text on these things, and we just don't think it's particularly great. Range of sports, though, you see down the left hand side, is pretty good. That's a pretty solid range, although what we will say, you'll find when you click into some of these sports that the number of markets are very limited. So you see the darts here, there's only really a couple of markets kicking off at the minute. Having said that, football is obviously going to be a massive part of this sports book. It's easily the biggest sport, so if you are a football bettor, then this maybe is worth having a look. Outside of that, you've got your basketball, your American football, ice hockey, baseball. Basically the big four American sports are well covered on this site as well, so that's something to look out for. Big omission from the site is horse racing. There aren't actually any horse racing markets, so we realise that a lot of our punters are UK based and will probably be looking for horse racing as part of their betting portfolio. Unfortunately, 10bet do not have horse racing. Okay guys, so what you're going to see is from the sports navigation is another thing that we're not massively keen of. How they've basically gone about is a reverse to what the majority of bookmakers do, which isn't always a bad thing, but you can sort of click on the Champions League there, which is the upcoming games for that competition at the minute, and what they do is they're sort of by markets rather than games. So whereas normally, so these are the 4 games that are playing tonight, or actually these 2 are next week, but you're normally able to click on the game and then you get a big list of markets and go through there, and that's something that basically we've grown up on. We assume most of the people in the betting industry will be used to, and these guys have, as I say, sort of flip reversed it, and you can click your actual betting market and then you can choose between the games. I mean, it's fine to do it this way, but as I say, we don't think it works as well as the sort of quote unquote original format. And another thing is we're coming back to the design again, but this text is far too small. It's far too hard to work out, what the odds are for each player. I mean, you've got headers up here which just seem to be random really, but obviously you can work it out: first goal scorer, last goal scorer, any time goal scorer. But in terms of trying to find that this must be so easy to click on the wrong odds for the player that you want to select. We've got the goal scorer up here, for example, but it must be so easy to get this wrong, and the layout just isn't great at all. One thing we will commend them on is that they have got a stats section, although again this is pretty basic. Let's say there's an upcoming game here against Paris Saint-Germain and Chelsea this evening, and you've got pass form, and is that head-to-head games? Yeah, so previous head-to-head games there. It's pretty much where it ends. Other companies are going into massive detail about how they're going on in terms of scorers, how many goals they score, goals conceded, what time they sort of concede goals, like players to look out for, things like that. Unfortunately, it's a bit on the shallow side, shall we say.